So tennis, TV, technology literally make an intersection of the three expressions of my life. And as much as I'd like to talk about tennis or TV shows today, maybe we can say that for the next TEDxBandraSalon. Today I want to talk about technology. Technology is a very important socio-cultural pillar of our life. And it effectively endeavors to make our lives a little bit easier, more efficient, and sometimes less expensive. At the intersection of social media, e-commerce, and user-generated content sits a company which I have the privilege of being a co-founder of, which effectively endeavors to create and apply intuitive solutions. I'd like to talk about intuitive solutions today with regards to social media and influencership. And now, before we begin on the solutions, I think we need to address the problems. Now, some of you who are familiar with brands and social and digital media marketing understand this to be absolutely true. This has been a growing issue in quite some time, that organic reach is officially dead, especially in light of Facebook's new policies. What makes the problem worse with social media is that it's out of your control. Whatever is posted on a brand's handles is completely out of their control, and oftentimes brands literally die on social media. In addition to the trolling, the negativity is something that is not bearable. The lack of engagement, and can we please redefine what engagement means beyond a thumb? On top of that, it's expensive. And I'll say that again because this is just getting tougher and tougher for brands. Facebook and Instagram are pretty much following in the footsteps of the giant Google that built a multi-billion-dollar industry on doing exactly what their Facebook is now doing, charging exorbitant prices for brands. I can let this cartoon sit for a second just so you have an idea of what this is actually equating to in our lives these days. What makes this even worse is what's going on in influencership as well. Bots. Bots are extremely nefarious. I equate this whole epidemic to the steroid epidemic. Well, everybody does it, it helps you win. It's still cheating at the end of the day, and it's not right. On top of it, what's going on is that brands pay influencers, not knowing if those influencers actually have bots. And many times the influencers don't even know if they're actually directing and influencing a sale. So the whole thing has become a little bit messy, and it's not authentic or authenticated. Now, the silver lining in this massive thunderstorm is a little bit opposite to what Anu just said about selfies. Selfies do have a point, right? And we have to look at user-generated content, specifically video and film, as a very powerful medium, especially when used peer-to-peer. You can see that 92% of people trust peer-to-peer recommendations in advertising. And if we look a little further at some of these stats, 73% of consumers are more likely to purchase a product or service after watching a piece of content around it. So we know the saying, content is king. What does that actually mean? How do we use intuitive solutions around that to make it work for us? I want to explain our very first and fastest growing intuitive solution with a tiny hypothetical anecdote. If I was to move to Vikhroli from Bandra, or Viva Vikhroli as my friend Parmesh Sani always says, and I asked Parmesh, hey, I just moved here, I need a doctor, who should I go see? And he says, you know, why don't you go and see Dr. Singh, she's great. I see Dr. Singh, I feel all better, transaction over, thanks so much Parmesh. This is a routine, mundane thing we do all the time, right? We refer our friends to other people we trust and we believe in. Now imagine that whole thing digitized, authenticated, where everybody's held accountable and everybody monetizes. So in the scenario online, not only does Dr. Singh make money, but Parmesh should also take a commission for helping Dr. Singh make an income. And I, as a very happy customer of Dr. Singh now, am inspired because I see Parmesh has taken a commission. I too want to start referring and make commissions as well. So one of the most intuitive solutions that literally are sitting under your nose that we don't think about, especially from a brand's perspective, is that solutions and technology can actually transform a brand's customers into its own sellers and brand advocates. And before I explain a little bit more in detail what this means, I'd like to ask you a question. And the answer to this question, again, is quite simple because it's often overlooked. Because we look outwards a lot of times. We look outwards to say who can sell our brand the best, who has the magnitude and weight across various mediums to talk about our brand the best. And sometimes that's not the best way to look at it. If you're thinking the answer to this question, who is your best influencer? And if you're thinking the answer is your own customer, you're absolutely right. And this is completely flipping the concept of influencership a little bit on its head. Your own customer likes you already. They've already bought your products. And if you're very, very lucky, they're loyal to you. But on top of it, if you truly are in their lives, and they're people like me who have smartphones, who are posting content across social media casually on a daily basis, you're probably, as in your brand, is probably literally in the content that they're posting. You might as well have them tag it with some product links. And that's exactly what one of the most interesting aspects of what I love doing is happening. Now, my husband thinks mini micro-influencership is a little bit of a redundant phrase because micro-influencership is something we're all aware of, but I specifically like to say mini micro-influencership because we are flipping the pyramid on its head. Now, you can see at the top of the pyramid are your celebrities and influencers who you pay, and hopefully they're influencing sales. You have your micro-influencers also, potentially you pay. And the big meaty base of that pyramid are your customers. Now, what if we democratize influencership, flip the whole thing on its head, create also livelihoods at the same time, performance-based commissions for your own customers, and have and create a virtual army of a sales force working for you as and when they want. Now, this is not just a solution I'm making up. It actually works, and we can discuss some of the brands that have done extremely well in a little bit. But before that, this is how simple it is. A customer simply loads a piece of content for the brand, and before that content goes live, it is always watched and seen to make sure that it's brand safe and brand positive, and it's doing what the brand has asked them to do. Before that content is blasted around social media, that content has affiliate product links associated with that content. So if I'm wearing this dress, the product links with that dress are going across social media. So whenever my own friends click on that and actually make a purchase, I'm able to track the commission that I would make. This is how it effectively looks if I'm posting across social media. I'm able to directly position that so that it goes directly to the product page. You can see down on your right-hand side, a post across Facebook goes directly to the brand or the merchant's retail product page. Now, we can talk about how successful this is, and of course, this is a sincere fact that this is starting to grow very, very quickly. And on top of it, one of our brands, Vanity Planet, made $1 million in 4 weeks, in less than 4 weeks, simply with one of their brand ambassador programs. So they quickly just jumped on and started to open more and more brand ambassador programs, generating a huge revenue. But why does this actually work? Why does mini micro-influencership work? And again, it comes to another keyword, trust. My friends know me. We're friends on Facebook, on social media. They come to my weddings. They know who I am. We have similar likes. So if I'm posting a piece of content, they're more likely to click on my content and see the casual links that I posted there. It's not somebody they don't know that is shoving messages down on their pages, constantly on their feeds, telling them brand A one day, then brand B the next day. So the authenticity of mini micro-influencership works. Now, effectively what you're doing with this is you're expanding your sales force in a transparent manner. Because this whole thing needs to be understood. Who's doing what? Who owes what? Who needs to get paid now to do this? So the technology that is built around tracking this is extremely robust and so important to such a day-to-day referral system that we use anyway, now digitized in a world that we call influencership. What this means for brands Very simple, multifold actually. Of course, now you've got a ceaseless flow of user-generated content talking about how wonderful you are as a brand. Normally, this kind of content costs brands millions of dollars to produce. Now you've also got a safe way to bypass Facebook's blocks. Facebook says, sorry, you cannot see Shikha's friends, but what if Shikha says, I can show a brand my friends? That is another intuitive solution that we've just created here with this whole program. Now you've reached into all my social media assets, seeing thousands of my friends. Again, if I'm creating a piece of content for you, be it even a selfie or a video content, that is what I call engagement. A thumb is simply an acknowledgement of me having read something you said, and yeah, I read it, but did I register it? Did I feel it? Did I feel the brand connect with you? I really do when I actually take the time to make a piece of content for you. In a nutshell, what we're doing here is this whole process is now the only way brands can get their message out and awareness up without spending anything more, because it's only going to get more and more expensive. Now, what this means for micro-influencers, again, it's multifold. Apart from having their own little mini e-com store and generating a performance-based revenue, the biggest thing we've noticed about mini micro-influencers in India is that social upward mobility, being called a brand ambassador, that means something to somebody. It adds a value that a brand recognizes you as a valuable person and cares about you. And that social upward mobility leads to the aspirational development of masses of Indians that we're seeing happen to come on. Effectively, in a nutshell, we are working with the largest and smallest brands around the world, but the idea behind this final slide is to more talk about what we're becoming and what I'm becoming. And as I evolve as an individual, INDI also is constantly evolving. And we do endeavor to be the world's biggest video shopping platform and effectively a knowledge platform sharing data and content and information and studying behaviors about people and their consumption. But you know, with smartphones rising in India, with data decreasing, data prices decreasing, and the economic growth skyrocketing, this is a very exciting time for us to create intuitive solutions that we think back on authenticity and the truisms of our life and our regular human behaviors to create greater reach and revenue. Now, just like I said, I'm constantly evolving, and so is the platform, because it's just such a part of who I am. It doesn't mean that I forget to look inwards and forget to leverage or remember to leverage the assets that I have acquired over the years from all my careers and use them for the benefit of all. Thank you very much.